Story time where I thought about breaking HIPAA because a girl was in the process of being groomed. So I worked for a med spa and we were required to adhere by HIPAA because we did have medical providers and some of the treatments fell under like medical treatment. So this young girl comes in, it's her 18th birthday. She comes in with her mom. She's 18 too, so I'm like, ugh. And her mom ends up sitting in the lobby and she comes in to talk to me about something that she's thinking about getting done. So as I'm building a quote for her and we're just chatting, I'm asking her like what her plans are for her birthday. And she tells me, she's like, I'm gonna go hang out with my boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, what are you guys gonna do? And she was telling me that it was gonna be a surprise. She's like, yeah, my mom doesn't know yet. I just haven't told her that, I have a boyfriend. Now, mind you, she's 18, but she's also like a band girl, like, she's a dork. I was a dork, so I can say it. Like, she's a cute little dorky girl. So I asked her, I was like, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend? And she's like, no, I can. I just, don't really feel comfortable telling my mom yet. And I asked her, like, why? She said, well, we're in an age gap relationship. Mind you, she's 18, so I'm curious. So I'm like, okay, how old is he? She said 45. And so me, I'm staying calm because I, want to put her at ease and I want to know more information. So I asked her, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so how did you guys meet? And she said they met up on this meetup app and it was like for Pokemon Go or something like that. And, they really connected and exchanged contact information. But then she told me like sometimes it's hard to talk to him. So I'm really happy that I get to spend my birthday with him. So I was like, why is it hard to talk to him? That's your boyfriend, right? She tells me he's married. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she said, he's really unhappy in his relationship and like he's like actually in the process of like divorcing his wife. I said, okay. I said, how long have you guys been together? And she told me, she's like, well, he doesn't want me to talk about the relationship. She's like, but I feel comfortable with you. And, we've been together for a while. Like we met when I was 17. So, like he just wanted to keep it under wraps. Not the fact that he was married, the fact that she was 17. I said, oh, I was like, does he have kids? And she says, yeah, he has 2 kids. But, like that's really also too, like why it's hard for him to leave. So then I start asking her, like, so what do you guys like do? Like, what do you typically do? She's like, well, like he'll come and pick me up like from the park and we'll like drive around and like sometimes we'll go get food and eat. Okay. Then she told me that he was also going to take her to a concert. It was going to be her first concert. She was so excited. Okay. So to be more specific, she's getting laser hair removal, but she's wanting to do it in like on her, like she's want to get like Brazilian laser hair removal and underarms. And her mom was going to pay for all of it. She's like, I think this is like the perfect like 18th birthday gift for her. I'm like, okay, cool. And then she was like, yeah, I don't really want to do it, but like it's just something that he prefers. Okay. So then I asked her, I was like, do your friends know about this? And she's like, no, he really wants to keep it a secret, and I don't want to get him in trouble. Okay, girl. But then she did kind of express, she's like, it is kind of nice to talk about him. And I asked her, I was like, are you in love with him? And she's like, absolutely. And she's like, like I'm going to marry him. I asked her, I was like, have you ever had like a boyfriend before? And she's like, no, like he was my first kiss. Like he was my first everything. God. So I'm like really trying to hold it together. But like, I'm getting angry. Like I'm getting angry at this guy, but I'm trying to keep it together. At that point, I needed to change the subject. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you're 18, like you're graduating. I was like, have you thought about like going to school or like what you're going to do after high school? And she's like, yeah. She's like, well, I got into UF and she's like, but he really doesn't want me to go. I was like, okay. I was like, so what are you going to do? And she told me that he basically told her that eventually it's going to take him some time because he doesn't make a lot of money, but he's going to get her an apartment so she can move out of her parents' house and he's also going to get her a car. And then they can get married. So I'm like screaming inside. I'm screaming because the poor wife, your 45-year-old husband, is messing with a 17-year-old and you have 2 kids at home. This poor girl had like he really messed with her head. Like I can't even judge her because she's a baby. She's 17. She does not know the implications of her actions. But when we walked out of my office and her mom got up, she ran over to her and hugged her. And she's like, I'm so proud of you for doing that by yourself. Like that's how innocent this girl was. Like her mom made it a mission to be like, you're 18. You got this. Like I know you can do this consultation by yourself. She was so naive, so young, so innocent. And this 45-year-old creep is taking advantage of her. And she's thinking about not going to college? I'm fuming. So I talked to two of the front desk girls and one of the med pros, and I'm like, I need to tell her mom. Like, I have to tell her mom. Then I was told that it's a fireable offense because I'm breaking HIPAA. I still think about that girl at least once a week.